Action films have been a favorite genre in our contemporary culture for many generations. Over the past 30 years, women's roles have shifted from being men's assistants to being lead protagonists. They no longer need the help of a man in order to be successful or safe. These new ladies of action films exude independence and power like never seen before.
Today's leading actresses in action-packed films are top-billed, top-paid, and constantly dividing the critics. Some post-feminists argue that these action heroines are progressive and reflect the status of women's equality, which has been steadily increasing in Western society. An action heroine controls her own destiny, makes her own decisions, and fights her own battles. She is inquisitive, intelligent, physically and emotionally strong. A clear portrayal of a heroic ideal with which audience members identify. Through textual analyses, in which we interpret the different layers and meanings of text by critiquing how these women characters convey specific ideologies, we argue that these action heroines are not actually as progressive as they first appear, nor are they close to being transgressive characters. Action heroines are still stuck perpetuating the importance of a woman's beauty through reinforcing various feminine stereotypes. It cannot be denied that these leading ladies are conventionally beautiful, glamorous, and sexualized. These main oppositional readings of action heroines display these characters as embodiments of contradictory discourses.
What then are the dangers of heralding these heroines as empowered and progressive women? Stuart Hall provides us with a starting point with which to analyze these protagonist women in action films and what hidden ideologies they represent. Hall's contention that media messages are embedded with presuppositions about beliefs and practices that shape everyday perceptions of reality, and that there is no space of representation which exists outside ideology, reminds us of the fact that all media messages are constructed. Hence, the premeditated and careful constructions of these action heroines become revealing instances of traditional gender roles and ideals of femininity.
Since the late 1990s, a new form of action heroine has emerged. She no longer needs to be muscular, like her predecessors, or motivated into extreme action by strong maternal drive. This new action heroine is a reinstatement of archetypal femininity, much more carefully and systematically enforced. This can be seen in films like Charlie's Angels, the Tomb Raider series, Blade Trinity, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Wanted, and the Resident Evil series. Female heroines continue to be strong, resourceful, and intelligent, but are now presented in more traditionally feminine and sexualized physiques. While these characters can be read as independent and liberated women, able to choose their own attire and sexual partners, their highly sexualized femininity remains their defining feature. This eroticization and self-objectification is masked by claiming it to be empowerment. Angela McRobbie similarly questions how progressive our hyperculture of commercial sexuality can be. These action heroines tend to be daughters who are groomed by influential father figures, for instance, Lara Croft, Elektra, and Charlie's Angels. If they are not portrayed as daughters, they are portrayed as wives or mothers, like in Kill Bill or Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Also in situations where the active woman coaches a male protagonist to come to power, she ultimately has to concede to his authority, like in the movie The Matrix.
I've done all that I could do. Now you have to do the rest.
Unrealistic expectations are placed on real women because of the flawlessness of action heroines. Bell Hooks would label this unattainable body image phenomena as misrepresentation of the general population of women. Misrepresentation occurs when one group is portrayed in a particular way. However, this representation is inaccurate and unrealistic. Instead of reflecting average women, action heroines are, sadly, more like life-size Barbies. Frequent images of cookie-cutter action heroines educate viewers into believing that this body image is ideal and necessary in order to become attractive, successful, and superior. This physical appeal is linked to the concept of wishful identification, where female viewers wish to be like or place themselves in that character's shoes. Due to this desperate need to emulate the women on screen, average women often subject themselves to unhealthy dieting, which can ultimately lead to eating disorders like anorexia. Other than representing ideal body types, action heroines belong to the ideal social economic class and race. As described by Shirley Steinberg in her article, Barbie, the Bitch Has Everything, the majority of the action heroines, like Barbie, celebrate whiteness as a standard of feminine beauty, and they repetitively display their upper middle class credentials. Action heroines continue to be restricted by their traditional gender roles and commodified sexuality, effectively taking away the ability for much radical readings, especially ones interpreting these characters as new models of independence and agency.